Hey guys, welcome to another one of our videos. He's trying to put me off again. I'm the worm, this is the proton. Today we're doing a product we did receive free of charge from vapegear.co.uk. This is a pre-production model that we got sent through, so it's not actually available to buy yet. This is sent to us by Kirsty and Keith, just to test out and see what's going on, and we hope you get well soon, Kirsty.
We do hope you get well very soon.
Yeah,
well, you won't know what that's about, but still. Yeah,
but they will obviously. But yeah, this is the AGT on my Famo. It's got it doesn't come with a drip tip. It just comes like that. And
should we go through the particulars?
Yeah.
Okay, UD AGT, $29.99 with tax. It's going to cost you 30 quid, which off the bat, it's not cheap for what it is, I don't think, but it is very well built. So we've got that.
Oh, it's extremely well built.
I would say VapeGear had 20 brick reduction, sent us out one. Believe they sent one at Todd, so only 18 people got to buy them, and they're all gone. So you're unlucky with that. It's scroll down there for me, just so I can get the exact measurements. But it's basically a baby sort of AGI meets an Arga T, if that makes any sense. 17.5mm, and then you've wide, sorry, and you've got a height excluding the drip tip or 510 connection is 45mm, so it's very small. Yeah, 45mm without a drip tip on a 510 and 17.5 across.
It does say that he had his running on a 1.5 stainless steel rope wick, so I'm assuming it's a 1.5mm hole to just under 2.
Yeah.
Because we try getting a 2mm bit of rope in there and it won't fit.
Might have been the rope slightly over though, but yeah. So the wick hole's fairly small. Tank capacity is, I'm even looking at it, I can't see it. I'm so sorry. I think
1 mil.
Is it?
It's 1 mil.
So it's very small tank.
It is a very small tank if you look at it there. I mean, what I've got in comparison, this is my Zeus. It's about the same sort of size in terms of body.
RSST. There you go.
Yeah, you see. So
304 stainless, I believe. Pyrex glass on that tank, so big thumbs up for that. Because obviously the other two
very thick as well, so that's probably why you're losing a bit of
incredibly thick. It's like it's got to be 2-3mm thick. It's like bulletproof glass. I can't remember what I was going to say. You throw me right off there.
We're using stainless steel meshing here at the moment, 500 grade. 4 wraps, 5 wraps.
5 wrap coil.
32 gauge cant foil.
32, 1.5 ohms at the minute. Do you want to show them that quickly? Chuck some nice focus for you.
Oh, I just lost bits.
Fast.
Oh, there we go. That side.
Where are we? Here we are. Fire up coil. As you can see, guys, you've got
there is one really low on the bottom of that. You can only see 4, but there is one. Trust me, guys, at the very bottom of that.
I promise.
It's just hidden by the wick.
It has got the Arga T style nuts and bolts at the top, and the prong running all the way through the middle. But the nuts on this, one of them is bigger than the other. So the top one's smaller and the bottom one's bigger, which we actually prefer as opposed to 3 nuts.
Apparently it's 2.1 ohms now, so
well, a little bit of movement.
It keeps jumping up and down. So
should we sort of have a little chat about it, or do you want to show out vapes first, and then we'll have a chat after? We'll have a chat first.
I'll have a little chat first. I've rewicked this about 4 or 5 times now. There is a slight issue with, well, we had a slight issue with it not wicking properly. It did seem to work all right with the Genesis kind of tilt, but it still wasn't enough to keep it completely saturated for what Mr. Brown likes to call rape vaping.
Rape vape.
It just doesn't last. I mean, it just dries out within about 4 or 5 totes, and then it's kind of dry.
Of consistent, like.
But I have noticed since I've been using it more like any other device instead of rape vaping it, it's not doing too bad. It is still struggling slightly, but with that Genesis tilt, it kind of seems to balance it out a little bit.
We think part of the problem, I mean, if we had 1.5mm stainless steel rope, we think this would be no problem whatsoever with a bit of mesh on top of it. Because we're using 500 grade mesh, didn't have any 400 unfortunately. A bit poor on our side, to be honest. It has slightly struggled with wicking. We was using a 50-50 mix. We've moved up to sort of 70-30 now.
It's doing a lot better.
It's performing a lot better, so obviously down to our mesh. Basically, in terms of the mesh, because we were struggling with how small that mesh had to be to get through that hole, we wrapped a second piece of oxidized mesh around the top in order to bring the width of the mesh at the top.
We did also have a paper clip in the middle to actually create an air hole, so it actually kind of runs through the middle. It doesn't. It has been tightened up a little bit.
Might be lying a bit because I read that and I didn't use no paper.
But it was initially there, so there was a hole. But
build quality on it. It's double O-ring. The top fits on, and it does fit on. It's very tight. It's not
extremely tight.
It's not so tight you can't put it on, but it's not going anywhere. Trust me on that. Chamber's nice and small, so you definitely get the flavour of that in there. O-rings feel nice and solid, and obviously we do get a spare pack bits and bobs
Yeah,
of this
we
as
do
well.
get a spare pack.
Couple of
So
spare
I'll
O-rings. I think you get a spare screw in there as well. You get a bit of
screw,
wick,
a little bung, 2 O-rings, a bit of wick, and I'm assuming that's knit chrome. It normally is knit chrome.
as well as some mesh. We believe 400 grade mesh, but we cocked that bit up, I think. So you do get a bit of spares of it. Like I say, in terms of price, it's actually the same price as the AGI, isn't it?
Yes.
That's dangerously close. That is dangerously close to the AGI price for UD to release that. But we don't know the finalised price. The production price may be lower than this, but this is a pre-production. They had 20 of them. They sent a couple out and they bunged the others on their site to sell. So, do you know what I mean? You're gonna charge what you guesstimate to be the price, and I would imagine this would be about 25 quid, 30 quid anyway. It is very, very well built.
Basically, the reason they've done this is to send them out the pre-release of it is basically so people can test them who know how to use rebuildables. I mean, we're not the best, but we are definitely above average. And it's just like so they can iron out the products, what we think about it, and how we think it could be changed slightly. And if they can implement that and it does improve it, then they'll probably implement it. So
you never know.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I think first off, I mean, the one thing I would say probably just needs to be hopefully a 2mm hole to get a 2-bit mil of wire rope in there. That would be lovely.
We haven't actually measured it. It could be 2mm. The rope was oversized.
But you need a little bit of air, don't you? Really. So the 2mm, 2.5 would be nice, but it is very tight there, guys.
On a bird's eye view, just you can see the screw set up and stuff.
Oh, you got the mouse still?
I've still got the mouse. Sorry, guys. This is a very friendly go from us. Very poor. Oh, gone. There you go. So basically, you've got your middle. Well, basically, positive in the middle. You've got your wick, which you'll be able to see as a top. The middle one is your negative, and the bottom is your fill hole.
Yeah.
Now you could, in theory, run a U-wick. How you'd fill it, we don't know. But you could, in theory, run a U-wick. I
don't think it's meant to be run as a U-wick.
No, but
there would be no air to fill this.
Like. So it is one of those ones. Obviously, air hole in the side, standard procedure. It is a Jenny tank. You line up your air hole, which is good. The chamber's nice and small as well, so you definitely get a nice little flavour and throat hit off this one as well. Should we have our hit list, get that bloody thing out of the way with, and then we'll move on to a proper chat afterwards? I'm always very aware that we've got to do a hit list at the beginning of these videos. For some reason, it's clouding me.
Yeah, okay, looks on this thing. UD stuff looks really good. It really does. It looks great. I mean, it's a 9. It really is. It's just it does look really nice and tidy. Everything fits so well together, and yeah, very nice.
Looks for me. I love the way that the UD stuff looks. Even back to like the Arga, when I really wasn't the biggest fan of the Arga, but I do love the way it looks. I'm going to give that thing a 10. I don't think you could improve that for the size of it. I really don't. You get your choice of drip tip in there, 510 drip tip, straight in, 510 connection, strap it onto a mod. Mechanical, variable voltage, whatever you want, and it's going to look good. I mean, the VAMA's obviously bigger.
It's a UD drip tip as well, isn't it?
That is a UD drip tip as well. Which it's my one, yay! But in terms of just everything, I think it looks really, really solid, really, really good looking. So, but all of the new stuff does as well. So definitely thumbs up for that 10 for me off the looks.
Usability next. Usability. Well, it's the same as any Genesis style. If you are a Genesis style rebuilder, you're going to probably find this probably around about an 8 because it is a little bit twitchy, shall I say, at the moment. But this is obviously the pre-release, so it could be better.
I imagine that's how it's coming, to be honest with you.
But for anyone else, Genesis styles, you're looking at 4s. They are hard to get into, but once you do get the knack of them, they do knock up to about an 8. But I'd say it's slightly better than the Arga, but nowhere near as easy as the RSST. So.
Usability for me, I mean, if you're a Jenny user, you're going to be used to tweaking and stuff anyway, but even that being said, this is lower than quite a few of the others. You've got that hot leg problem at the top coming back that you had in the Arga T. It seems, to me anyway, after using the RSST and the spring and the washer, I mean, I know you could put a spring and washer in there yourself, it's no major thing, but they should really just start making them with this stuff. They really should, because it makes using it a lot easier. And it does eliminate some of the hot legging issues we've found anyway, especially in the RSST. It's just you can't go wrong with this bloody thing, and we're assuming that's partly is why you can't.
I don't know whether it's something to do with where we tighten it up, we maybe squash the wire a little bit, and that's what I was thinking anyway. But we don't honestly know. So
as a Jenny user, I'm going to give this one like a 7, just purely because it is a pain in the ass compared to a lot of others. As a novice complete first rebuildable, don't touch it. Don't touch it, it's your first rebuildable. I know it looks amazing and you may well have success with it. It's not what I would recommend you buy as a first Genesis style tank.
That is the RSST.
That's still the first Genesis style tank that I would recommend for a new user.
Maintenance. There are quite a few there's 2 little screws in there. potential of losing them. You do get a spare, but yeah,
you get a big and a little spare one.
No, just one. You don't get no spare nuts for the top, so if you lose them, you're screwed unless you can get another nut from somewhere. You're not completely screwed, but you can buy other nuts. But it's going to be a little bit of an annoyance when you do wash it out. Everything else is pretty much big and easy to find. It's not going to be hard. You're not going to lose it. It's very well built. It's not going to be like damaged when you wash it and shake it about. So maintenance is it's quite high, but still low for a Genesis style, I'd say. So you're looking about 7 or 8, somewhere there between.
I disagree a wee bit. I don't think it's. I mean, compared to the RSST, it's about the same amount of parts in terms of washing it out and stuff.
It's just the nuts though as well.
Then yeah, but still, you've got a spring and a washer to lose in the RSST. I mean, yeah, you could lose that, but let's face it, you should be taking care of the stuff as you take it apart. You do that, it's not going to be an issue. So
we use a colander.
I don't think that's part of maintenance, to be honest. But in general, I think Jenny tanks, once you've got them right, your wicks are reusable. All you've got to do is empty out, give it a wash, chuck it all back together, and wrap a new coil. So maintenance for me, I'm going to give this one like a 9. It's not particularly hard. It's just getting that coil right. That's the problem. But I think that comes under usability more than anything.
Yeah, that's kind of maintenance as well, Then it's one of those things that come under both. Flavour and vapor. When this thing is working, it performs like any other Genesis starter tank. It's amazing. There is a slight bit more throat off this, but other than that, it is really good. It is the flavour you get off is the same as any other Genesis style. You look at 9.5s. Amount of vapor, again, it's about the same as any other Genesis style. It's about 9.5. So the only issue is that at the moment we're getting is the wicking issue, but that could be us being twats, or it could just be the device itself. We don't know exactly. We seem to have very hit and miss with these things. We'll wrap one coil, it'll be banging. We'll wrap the next coil exactly the same as we did. Nothing. It's working.
Yep.
So
flavour for me, I quite like the flavour that gives. I mean, it did just dry hit on me, but I think that's down to wicking issue. With stainless steel rope, and I am taking into account with stainless steel rope, this thing would wick much better. Or some 400 grade mesh also. So the flavour for me, I actually really enjoying the flavour of that. I think I'm going to give that a 9.5 for flavour. Just I think that small chamber helps the flavour come out a little bit more, which is always good. Vapour for me, I mean, you've just watched me have a quick vape. I've been vaping the RSST, and they're basically very, very similar. I would like to point out, what coil are you on?
That's a 1.3 now.
Right, okay, well, mine's a 1.4.
I'm running on 3.8.
I'm running considerably higher than that.
He's running on 5.
I'm not, I'm running on 4.6. But I do run things hot. I would like to point out though, with the RSST, I've drilled the air hole out slightly, so I think I need to run it slightly higher. But flavour vapour is definitely good. The vapour of it is a 10, the flavour's a 9.5. It's a very, very nice tank. Once you've got it set up and that, it performs really, really good. And it just delivers exactly what you want it to deliver. It's just a shame it's that screw thing again, the nut at the top. I'd have rather have the post from the AGI with a screw maybe, similar to the ICO, that kind of style, or preferably the washer and the spring. That would have been really nice if they'd included that, because it just makes things so much easier. Overall,
I mean, for the price, it's a little bit expensive for my liking. I mean, you can get the AGI, which I've got as well, for the same sort of price, and you get a dripper with that as well. So, but for its price, because it is such a dinky and really easy to carry about little tank, I mean, it's still really good. Just a shame that it's a little bit of a pain in the arse. It really is. It is just a little bit of a pain in the arse at the moment. I mean, it's kind of working all right at the moment, but you've got to put every bit of like Genesis trick into it. Do the tilt, make sure you've got some like that. The hole in the middle of the mesh seems to be working for us at the moment when you do the tilt as well. So overall, it is really good, but it's kind of hard to get it to really good. So an 8.
It's for me, it's a similar dilemma to, for example, the AGI. Pain in the arse, pain in the arse, pain in the arse, pain in the arse. Oh my dear God, that's amazing. Pain in the arse, pain in the arse, pain in the arse. My dear God. Now, that's got to reflect, like I said, Worm said the price as well. It's the same price as the AGI. We'd like to point out that this is kind of completely different to the AGI because it's a much smaller device.
That's why I still gave it an 8.
It would probably look brilliant on something like a 1400 mod or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So 14500, something along 14650 is slightly narrower than your bigger sort of 18 or 20 mil or 22 mil mods, I think, or something like that. It blends almost kind of like hybrid style. And if that's what you're after, it's brilliant. The build quality of this, to me, feels slightly better than the AGI. It all seems a little bit tighter. I don't know whether that's because it's smaller and the AGI is big, so it does seem to rattle around a bit more until it's all secured. It could be that, but just in general, the build quality does feel really good. The steel is very good. Only issue with build quality, or not build quality, but sort of the build in general, I wish it had a slightly looser air hole. I do think it needs one. It's tighter than the AGI by a long way. It's actually tighter than the RSST standard before I drilled it out. For a Genesis style tank, I just wish it had I don't know what's in there. Let's have a look. 1.3 by the looks of it. 1.3. I wish it had sort of a 1.5.
I quite like the drawness.
That's a preference thing. It's totally a preference thing. I mean, at the end of the day, if you buy it, it's better to have it too small because you can always do exactly what I've done with this and drill it out. It takes 2 seconds to do that. I literally did it yesterday.
On my floor.
On his floor. So yeah, I mean, you can drill it out if you want to. If that was mine, I would drill it out. It's just how I would do it. It's very good. It is good, but the price brings it back a bit. I'm going to give it a 7. I'd have the RSST over that. I can't see. I mean, the RSST isn't as good looking. It's not as small. It fits a different purpose. It's brushed still.
But compared to this,
polished.
That's a piece of piss to wrap and get working. It really is. This is
temperamental. I think is probably the best way that we could describe.
We've had this about 5-6 days. We wicked it quite many times. I mean, I got it working once and was like, right, we'll start a video. I thought I'd have a few more pulls and make sure it's working. Died. Tried tweaking the coil snapped, and I was like, I ain't doing this now. Yeah, I'm not re-wrapping it again. I just re-wicked it like 4 times, bear in mind. Just got rid of this hot leg on the 4th wrap, and then it kind of buggered up and I snapped it. And it was just like,
between the two of us, we've got to spend a good 2 or 3 hours playing around with this thing. And admittedly, the wire rope really would have helped us out a bit, and so would not being a pair of idiots. But like I say, compared to the RSST, and I think. Even the AGI, Worm didn't play around with that as much as this. I mean, we did have some more core breakage on the AGI because we were tensioning it a bit more and stuff. But it worked. When it worked, it did work better than this is just. But it did definitely work better.
Sorry, that could be the rope that we've got in that.
It may well be.
The rope they've got in that just seems to wick like an animal, which is also from Vape Gear, so they do that as well. So definitely look into that if you're looking at a Genesis style tank.
Oh yeah, it's really, really good stuff, that rope.
It wicks like an animal. If you can get a 3mm hole, like that has.
That 3.3.
Yeah, that wicks like an animal in the 3mm. Absolute animal.
It's
I know we kind of went off target there, but
we are off target. We've kind of had our little thoughts in it, but we're going to keep going. I don't doubt. I mean, as it's meant to be, as it is, what purpose it serves. It's kind of like. I mean, the AGI was kind of like the update of the Arga T. I mean, I know it's not, but it's kind of like their new style. This. Well, I'm not being funny. There's a picture of it sat next to the Arga S. It's a very sort of similar setup, and I think it's what's meant to be sort of the next gen of that style. Do you know what I mean? Your Arga S, which is smaller Arga T. This is your smaller AGI. It definitely serves that purpose, and there are going to be people out there that absolutely love this. If you love to have a little tinker, what I would consider a little bit more than I would like to do, the RSST is kind of perfect for me because if it does go wrong, I don't even bother trying to tinker. I just whip it out and wrap another one because they basically go right straight away.
She's working a treat at the moment.
When it works really well. It does work really well. It's just that's my main issue with Jennies. We don't play around with Jennies as much as we play around with drippers. We have never claimed to be expert Genesis style tank users. We're not. We're your sort of run-of-the-mill, mid-range, know what we're doing when it comes to drippers. We're fairly experienced when it comes to wrapping coils and so on and so forth, but we are no far in a way Jenny experts. But we always give it a go. And most of the time it goes well for us, but other times, this being one of those devices, the Hugger T being one of them devices, it just gets on your nerves. And I think once something like this gets under your skin and you get the ump with it, you're best off leaving it, which is why it's taken us quite a few days to get this review out, because we were both having a go and it got to a point where we're both like, we'll have to put it down for now.
Literally, I'd wrap 4 coils, I'd get the ump with it. You'd sit there for half hour on the desk, you'd go on, I'll give it a crack, you'd wrap 3 or 4 coils, and lose his rag, and it would sit on the desk for a day, because we wouldn't touch it again, because it was that much of an annoyance to us, because we was like, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's one of them things where you kind of know, I'm looking at it and going, there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely nothing wrong with that at all, but it's got that hot leg problem at the top, and that's the thing that annoys me more than anything. I can deal with breaking wires and shorts if I haven't oxidised the mesh properly, and so on and so forth. We can deal with all that. That's not a big problem. It's just when you kind of got a hot leg and you're tweaking and you're tweaking and you're tweaking, it's just not working for you. It's a pain in the bum. I do want to point out, I mean, Kirsty and Keith did send one of these to Todd as well. Most of you guys will know who Todd is. Todd had a similar issue with a hot leg. He played with it for a few hours, got his game just right. Todd is more expert in this than we are. He just is. He's a very, very, very knowledgeable man when it comes to this stuff.
He loves his rebuilds. So.
He does, and he had wire rope as well, which is annoying because I wish we did. We did have some 1 mil, some 2 mil.
Well, we was tempted to order some the other week, but then we thought, no, we're not going to use it in anything, and we didn't get it.
To be honest, even if we had ordered it, we were talking about ordering some 2 and some 3 mil, and it wouldn't have fitted in this anyway, so it's no big deal. But
I probably will look into getting a 1 mil for this, see if it can get it working better.
1.5 would be lovely in that. Well, I think with a 1.5, then the only real issue you're going to have to overcome is a hot leg, because barring that, it's all good. And just tilt that wicking slightly, pull it a little bit tightish, and
we've got some ribbon on the way as well. Ribbon and some what steel rope could work banging in this thing.
It should be absolutely amazing.
We will update you with that one.
We will update you with that one.
I know this is kind of off topic and this is like this thing, but I just do want to point out that these are the UD drippers we bought. We bought one each. Again from Brave Gear.
They're very cheap actually. Yeah, about £3 each, which I think is really good for a stainless steel drip tip. Especially seeing as when you'll look at some of them and go, that's a bit weird. But put them in context. If you look at all of the new UD stuff, they kind of all serve to a different tank or whatever that's coming out or has been out or is out. So they're actually pretty good drip tips from there, which is always good.
I'm not like the most hot on stainless steel drip tips, but actually I've been using this in everything. I've been just popping this out, putting it in everything. The fit on it is snug. It's not too tight. It's just loose enough so it pops in, pops out without a problem, and it holds. So very, very well built.
I'd like to point out as well, mine's kind of perfectly straight cylindrical. Worms get bigger like a funnel, and he does like putting big things in his mouth, I've heard. So that might be why he's using it in everything. It's just backing up what I've been saying for a long time. Are we done? I think we should probably end. I was just going to sit around flat rubbish all day long.
Yeah, but just last thoughts on this. Don't buy this as your first one. If you are Genesis style and you do wrap them a lot, you will probably love this when you get this working because it works like an animal when it is working. But don't buy this as your first one. Buy the RSST. You can also get from Vape Gear.
It's worth the effort. It is worth.
It is worth the effort. But
you sit there and you play with it. And if you're one of the people that really enjoys just playing, then great. I play, and so does he, and we get the hump. Which is partly down to us being stroppy gits, but me more than him. But with this, I think I held my temper a bit better than you did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of them ones. But we do definitely recommend it. Well, if you
lovely
get
it's working.
Yeah. It's really good vape.
I imagine it'll be in stock soonish.
Soonish, yeah. So
no way, but
keep an eye on it, guys, and see if you fancy it. If you do fancy it, go pick it up. I'm sure you'll love it once you've got that coil in and you've got it sitting there, and it's just away you go.
I'm quite sure if you drop Keith a little email saying when are you getting his back in,
he'll say, I don't know.
But he might give you like a rough estimate.
Okay, keep an eye on their Facebook, guys. I know they update their Facebook quite a bit, so keep an eye on their Facebook, and they'll probably have pictures as soon as they've got them in, which is always good.
But yeah, guys, this has been the UD AGT, and I think we're done.
We are done. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Mr. Proton. It's been the Worm. I've got the mouse. See you soon.
Anything.